Hiya, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good, Gabby. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really good. It's sunny for the first time in ages here in Scotland,
Oh man,
so
you're lucky.
um,
I'm in Switzerland and it has just been snowing here. It's like spring forgot to come. It came for like a sneeze and then it just all went away again. So we're hoping that the
well,
sun comes back. So send some
yeah, I
over
was
to
going to
us.
say, hopefully spring gets started sooner rather than later.
No,
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to have
absolutely.
you on for a chat.
No, absolutely.
Would you mind kicking us off by just introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Dr. Namrata. I am the founder and CEO of NamNR Pro. We're a company based in Switzerland. And
Hmm.
what we essentially do is we've created something called the Global Dentists Pool, of which I would love to talk about today with you and your audience. But by training, I'm a dentist. I transitioned into the medtech sector half a decade ago. So I've been an external consultant. I have been as an external to companies, medical device companies, and then I worked as an executive within manufacturing firms. So, in a nutshell, I've seen pretty much all sides of the table when it comes to the dentistry domain. I've seen it as a clinician, I've seen it as somebody who works on the inside, also as an external consultant. So, I've pretty much seen the whole shebang. And now I've started my company and the pool, which is kind of the whole idea of bringing a lot of collaborations together.
I mean, what is the global dentist pool? So why did you start it?
So essentially, the idea is that when I was working in these roles within these companies, you tend to see certain gaps the more you work in these spaces. And one of the gaps from the dental device industry, to be specific, is that when you work with engineers and their teams, they barely have any clinical input when they're actually designing their devices. And the reason for that is that they don't have sufficient access to clinicians to get that input that they need to take better decisions. So that's one of the pain points. The second pain point I found was they're barely trained on the dental jargon. They kind of Google or a very basic training. It's like a typical onboarding. You get your laptop, you're there, and then you rely on your foundation knowledge of engineering or whatever it is that they are, like, in their traditional education model. And then they kind of
Yeah.
they're just thrown into the abyss and they have to figure everything out. So that's the second pain point. So for me, this was something I noticed. I was like, okay, they definitely need access to a larger cohort of just raw clinicians who love dentistry, who love doing this day in and day out, to support them in their decisions to build better devices which will actually sell. And then you come over to the dentist side, right? And when I see the situation of dentistry, it's kind of unchanged for the past many decades, which is the moment you become a dentist, you either start working at a clinic under the supervision of someone to learn, as you go ahead for a few years. Eventually, you can kind of pan out and start your own practice, or you could do something else, but you're kind of within that clinical practice
Yeah.
domain. And I kind of thought, why not flip the script? Because this is stressful. We all know how stressful it is to kind of manage your own clinical practice. And as dentists, you have to keep it calm. You got to keep it cool. Your patients can't see you stressed. You always have to come forth as somebody who has everything in control. And that adds a certain kind of hidden stress. And we're seeing more and more of that when we see the stories, especially in the UK, you're covering the NHS dentistry. And these are just
Yes.
hidden elements where you see the hidden stress that is actually existing in the lives of dentists. And it's not getting the right financial support. And they frankly need alternate channels of financially earning something on the side in order to
Definitely.
support themselves. So that's how we flipped the script. So essentially, the Global Dentist Pool is we're a platform. On one side, you have the dental device companies, and on the other side, you have dentists. We upskill the dentists and make them understand how the industry works. So, all the inner know hows of how the industry actually functions, because
Yeah.
we know how devices are used, but not how they're made. So, that's a skill gap, right? So, we have created a program called the Premium a dental advisor program, and we teach dentists everything they need to know about the industry in order to upskill themselves. And now you have an alternate revenue channel through the pool. We get the projects in for you, we give it to you, you do it in your own time, you don't have to stop your practice, you don't have to do anything, but you do it in order to support yourself financially if that is something that you seek. Conversely, you might be very well established in your clinical practice and you just want to do something different. You want to support industry. You want to pan out and do new things. So why not become a premium dental advisor and then do just that? So we're essentially bringing this collaboration, making it easier by creating this first of its kind platform. And if I can dare say this, the vision is we're going to become the Upwork or the Fiverr of Dentech. So that's the next goal for us as a company.
Okay.
I hope I answered your question.
No, absolutely. That was perfect. Thank you. I think what was really interesting is you kind of framed it as a solution to some of the issues that clinicians are facing within the NHS at the moment. So those who deliver NHS treatments, you mentioned that they're facing particular challenges, and you're spot on, they are. So how could this be a kind of creative solution to some of the problems or obstacles that clinicians are facing in the UK at the moment?
So in my opinion, when you know this better than I do probably, and you can pitch in, feel free to, but when it comes to the challenges that the NHS dentists are facing, and you've been covering it super well, your magazine has been really doing a great job there by bringing something that is actually existing globally, but at least the UK is at the forefront of highlighting it, and that essentially is that there's this expectation that if you become a dentist, now you have to do dentistry and there's absolutely nothing else that you can do. So I kind of challenge that idea. I'm like, why not? You have a great skill, use it, leverage it, just add a few more skills on top of it, and then why not go and support industry and open an alternate revenue channel for yourself? And that's a creative solution rather than to just stay limited in that box of dental practice and try and expand your practice, open more clinics. That's usually the route that most dentists follow, that I have to expand. I have one, I want to make it into 5. And yes, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. But not everybody wants to do that, right? So what other options do you have? Well, you have the industry that needs your input. Corporate needs your input as a dental practitioner. All you need to do is to upskill yourself and present your profile creatively, for which we exist now. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I am creating a platform where we will highlight the right skills to the right companies so that the matchmaking could happen between projects, and we can facilitate that process by bringing projects, bringing work, upskilling. I genuinely believe there's going to be a great state of flow that we're going to create through this platform. So I'm super excited on seeing how this baby grows.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm excited for you. I think it could have a real impact on the UK dental landscape. So thank you for explaining a little bit about what your plans and goals and hopes are with the Global Dentist Pool. If people watching or listening would like to get in touch, what's the best way for them to do so?
Absolutely. So the easiest way is my email. So it's namrata@namnrpro.org. It's there in the description. You guys can add it. And then you can reach out on LinkedIn. There's also a link available there. And we'll give you direct access to the pool, which is free for now, but it will become a paid platform very soon. So the sooner you come in, the more advantageous it is for you, because at some point we are going to convert it to a paid platform. So we are looking for the early adopters. We want the UK dentists to be represented in this global pool. The more numbers we can show to industry, the more impact we can create, and the more work we can get into the UK for you guys. So that's essentially the best way to come in touch.
Perfect. Thank you so much for explaining a little bit about you and your company. Really, really appreciate it.